right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Tonight, new information about the teenage tourist who lost her legs after being hit by a car. What the I-Team uncovered about the man who hit her. Plus, leaders in the region try to help the family.
We want her to know that we care, that St. Louis cares, that we're better than this.
Plus, catching up with the king. NASCAR legend Richard Petty explains his secret to success.
A weather first weather alert for a windy Wednesday. We're tracking when a line of intense showers and storms moves through and the threat that may come with that line.
Right now, those storms are still developing, but could just be hours away from arriving. Good evening. I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is tracking the timing of those storms. Scott?
You know, we've been watching this for a couple of days, and the ingredients appear they may come together tomorrow for us to have some active weather. Now, that's going to be during the day tomorrow. Overnight, we may have some showers and thunderstorms before daybreak, but it looks like most of that would be north of St. Louis, and the likelihood of any of them producing severe weather is awfully slim. So our weather headlines tonight, sure, there's a chance we'll have a rumble of thunder towards daybreak with some showers, especially north of St. Louis. But it's the showers and strong storms that come through with a wind threat, mainly from 11 o'clock until 3 o'clock tomorrow, that we are most concerned about. You see that severe weather threat, it's a level 2 out of 5, stretches from St. Louis north into Illinois and then southwest down along 44 and back to the west. So the main threat would be for winds, and this is a conditional threat. In other words, we need to have some sunshine in the morning to really realize those stronger winds. Right now, anything showing up on your radar on the app or as you see here on the screen, that's all aloft. What we're really watching is what's much farther to the south and west, how that impacts us tomorrow, and the timing on all of it coming up in just a few minutes, Mike.
And remember, you can get the Weather First forecast anytime. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355, and we'll send it straight to your phone. Tonight, a strong and growing show of support for a Tennessee volleyball player who lost her legs after being hit by a car in downtown St. Louis.
New tonight, our Robert Townsend is live downtown to tell us how the community is now helping Janae Edmondson and her family. Robert.
Ann and Mike, the Pray for Janae GoFundMe account is still growing. It is definitely the good news her family could use right now. From her office in Clayton.
Just tremendous sadness and outrage.
Kathy Osborne, the president and CEO of the Regional Business Council.
Concern for her and for her family.
Couldn't stop thinking about Janae Edmondson.
I heard she had a volleyball scholarship to college.
Like so many St. Louisans, Osborne has never met the talented teen from Tennessee.
It's heartbreaking.
Her heart aches after hearing the 17-year-old who came to St. Louis to play in a volleyball tournament downtown was struck by a car and critically wounded Saturday night. Police say Janae and her family were walking back to their hotel when Daniel Riley sped down St. Charles Street, failed to brake, hit several cars, and pinned Edmondson. Security cameras caught the horrific crash on video.
It's beyond imagination, and that it happened here makes it more personal.
In court Tuesday, Janae's parents said they're struggling how to tell their triple threat athlete she no longer has her legs. Janae loved to play volleyball, baseball, and softball.
So many people that I've talked to have just, it's like St. Louis is grieving.
Edmondson's mom told a judge, quote, "It's so wrong. I'm so distraught. I felt like my soul has been ripped out. His actions were his own choices. My daughter has always chose the right actions. It was no regard for life he had that day." The good news, the Pray for Janae GoFundMe page to support her family is quickly reaching $200,000. The Regional Business Council and Explore St. Louis each donated $10,000.
We want her to know that we care, that St. Louis cares, that we're better than this.
Now, Mayor Tashara Jones is echoing that today in a statement. The mayor said in part, quote, "My office has connected with the Circuit Attorney's Office and judicial partners to review the processes that led up to this preventable tragedy." Jones adds, and we're quoting here, "Our city can and must do a better job of working together to hold those who endanger our communities accountable." We're live downtown. I'm Robert Townsend. 5 on your side.
Prosecutors in Riley's armed robbery case say one of the reasons they didn't go to trial was because the victim was dead. Our I-Team found he's actually alive. Tonight, his father spoke exclusively to our Christine Byers.
Is your son alive?
Yes, my son's very much alive. He's playing basketball as we speak right now.
Jim Dandridge contacted the I-Team after we reported St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner's office told us his son was dead. It's why her office said they weren't ready to take Daniel Riley, who's accused of robbing him at gunpoint, to trial in July of 2022.
And it makes you wonder how inept they are and how many times this happened in the past.
What did the assistant prosecutor in this case tell you on that day that you were supposed to go to trial?
She just got back from her honeymoon and she was prepared to go forward with the case.
Dandridge spoke on behalf of his son, who still fears Riley and the 2 other men accused of robbing him back in the summer of 2020.
Well, the prosecutor needs to stay in touch with their victims and find out what's going on. You know, how would they know if he moved or if he's alive or dead?
All of the robbery suspects were put on house arrest with ankle bracelets. Dandridge, a retired St. Louis police officer, was shocked that they weren't kept in jail from the start.
This isn't a guy just stealing a car or a property crime. This is an armed robbery. I mean, my son's lucky to be alive.
And he is alive.
Yes, he's very much alive.
The I-Team obtained records showing Riley violated his GPS monitoring system about 50 times before he was supposed to go to trial, and another 40 times since. Dandridge said his phone started blowing up after Riley was identified as the driver who caused 17-year-old Janae Edmondson to lose her legs.
But I somehow felt responsible for this little girl being injured.
What message do you have for the girl's family?
I'm sorry for what's happened to you. We tried our best to put this person in jail for harming my son, for robbing my son. And I'm sorry that St. Louis has let you and your family down. This should never have happened.
I asked Gardner's chief warrant officer why the office told me Dandridge was dead. He's not sure how the mistake was made, and he said the judge was notified of violations and chose not to revoke Riley's bond. A spokesman for the court said that's not the case. For the I-Team, Christine Byers, 5 on your side.
For the latest developments on this tragic story and how to help the victim, check out our coverage on KSDK.com and on the 5 on your side app.
Just a few hours ago, students at Liberty High School in Lake St. Louis gathered to remember a student who was murdered. 15-year-old Lydia Elking was shot and killed Saturday night in St. Charles. Our Laura Barczewski was there and spoke with Lydia's classmates.
They all say that she had such an energetic spirit, that she was always having a good time, always smiling on her face, always happy and always a loving person. And I think that's such a respectable thing to hear about her, and such an honor to support her today.
Liberty High School students Charity Edney and Layla Thornton say their fellow classmate Lydia Elking was loved by so many and had a big impact on her friends and soccer teammates, which really showed by just the sheer number of people at the stadium memorial.
I think everyone that has spoke about her, posted about her, said something, has all said that she had a smile that lit up the room, and just a personality that brightened every place that she walked into.
The St. Charles Police Department says Elking was in a car with a 17-year-old boy near Oak Avenue and Perry Street on Saturday, where they were meeting 2 other teen boys. Suddenly, that meeting took a turn, and the teens said they were going to rob Elking and the 17-year-old, firing shots into the car, shooting Elking. The boy she was with drove straight to the hospital where she died.
It's very shocking just because, high schoolers get in car accidents, or high schoolers, you experience those things, but I've never heard of someone I know this close passing in such a tragic way.
Organizers of the memorial event say they honored 3 students who died, including Lydia Elking. They hope this event helps the community heal.
I think it just shows the community that we have here, the unity that we have at Liberty, and our community that can come together and really just love on each other, hug on each other, pray for each other, show support, and I think that's what we need right now for sure.
Reporting in Lake St. Louis, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
The 2 teen boys arrested in this case are also facing robbery, assault, and armed criminal action charges. They're currently being held in the St. Charles County Detention Center.
Tonight, a man is in police custody after his grandmother was found stabbed to death inside of her South St. Louis home. This happened around 10:30 this morning on Weber Road off Morganford and Union. Investigators say the victim's grandson called 911 himself, saying he stabbed his grandmother. No names have been released and no word on a motive.
New tonight, a triumphant tribute to Black history in St. Louis. An African-American heritage celebration was held in the rotunda of City Hall. One of the highlights of the night, an African drum performance from a member of the group Africa Alive. The performance consisted of crowd participation and a fun celebration of diversity.
After this, we'll have an Irish American Heritage Month event. We've had historically an Asian, specific Islander American Heritage event, and we'll have a Hispanic Heritage Month event as well. Every culture that has contributed to our city is important, and we ought to recognize that as a city government.
5 awardees were recognized tonight, including 14-year-old Sky Miller, who created the Sky Cares initiative, distributing thousands of care packages to people in need. Well, the city of St. Louis has struggled with its reputation for violence and high crime. Recent surveys of FBI and crime data named St. Louis the most dangerous city in the entire country.
Tonight, as part of our continued commitment to find answers, we traveled to another city that is turning its reputation around. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, went to Detroit searching for solutions.
For decades, people committing crimes were finding creative ways to outrun or outwit people trying to solve them. Until now, Detroit's real-time precision surveillance tools are rapidly closing that gap, helping police turn guesswork into arrest work.
The criminals are getting smarter, so we have to be smarter. And technology is here. You can't run from it.
Taking items, freight Ford pickup truck, 2 suspects wearing a face mask.
That's the message going up all over Detroit.
We started with 8 businesses, and now we're up to 866 businesses.
Flashing green lights prominently displayed outside businesses whose owners bought into the city's public-private partnership to pump live HD video into the real-time crime center.
This is a green light project, and so this is a map of all of our green lights across the city, and this is gunfire activity in the city.
Analysts monitor high-definition video feeds and overlay that data with alerts from ShotSpotter.
A gunshot goes off.
Captain Matthew Fulgenzi showed us just how fast police closed in on a woman who fired a gun at this gas station.
In this particular case, we had no 911 call, so without ShotSpotter technology, the police would have never been alerted to this location.
Within minutes, she was safely in custody.
And now video of the actual arrest.
Live video leads to more than just faster arrests. It leads to faster plea deals and faster convictions in court.
Are you closing cases faster?
Oh my God, it's a game changer.
And police say live video sped up the arrival of a safer city.
We were having close to 1,000 carjackings a year in the city.
How long before it subsided?
We saw drastic drop-offs the first couple years as we added more businesses, and then we got down to a point where we have about 200 a year now.
So it can be done?
It can be done, yeah.
The first green light cameras went up in 2016. 5 years later, Detroit reported a drastic 44% drop-off in carjackings. Not only did surveillance deliver safer streets,
the areas are a lot cleaner, and we get information on the amount of trash that's dumped. So we've got the convictions, we've got the arrests.
As the city expedites the swift delivery of justice and its consequences,
we believe in second chances.
Detroit is also writing its redemption story, one person at a time.
When you have misdemeanors or felonies on your record, you come across a host of barriers, specifically as it comes to employment, housing, and educational opportunities.
Shayla McElroy moved back home to Detroit after working at a California jail.
You saw the same people coming back?
Yes, over and over and over again, sometimes like within a 24-hour time period. And a lot of the time my question was, what's going on? Why do you keep coming back? And they're like, it's harder outside than it is in here.
She says putting a criminal past behind you can often come at a cost so high, many never take that first step.
It's not soft on crime to set somebody up for success so they don't have to return back to a life of crime.
If you are a resident of Detroit,
Project Clean Slate is turning those obstacles
Detroit has been
into open doors.
After I got my record clean, I was just like, oh, like the sky's the limit. I can do anything.
But for years, Nick DuBose knew his criminal record was a roadblock in his professional and personal life. He felt that pang of guilt on a trip to Niagara Falls.
My daughter points across and she like, Daddy, what's that over there? And I was like, oh, that's the Canada side. And I'm like, we'll go there one day. Immediately when I said it, I'm just like, uh-oh.
That was a promise he couldn't keep, not until his record was expunged. And 1 month later, an unexpected tragedy left his nephew without a home.
He literally had no other option. It was my house or the state.
Had that felony still been on his record,
they vet you for that. Like, he's living with me now until they
squared away. They vet you for that, though. If I got a felony on my record, my nephew goes to the state.
The same government that once branded him a felon built bridges back to his family in his hometown.
It's just like, there has never been a point in my life where I had that type of team, right, working for me. And when you think about stuff like that and it really hits you, it's humbling.
Nick eventually got that job he wanted. Now he runs his own business and he's growing his company. And there are thousands more people just like him from Detroit.
Mark, on the solving crime side, St. Louis already has a real-time crime center. We reported on that many times. That's where police monitor surveillance video. So how is Detroit's different?
Mike, in at least two major ways we observed, it's the way the mayor's office sells it so publicly and the sheer volume of businesses who buy in and promote it as well. Those results are spreading hope to businesses that invest in Detroit and for their customers.
You look for those, when you're going to specific places to stop if they have it.
You do as a customer?
Oh, absolutely.
Because
they're safer.
Next Tuesday night, we hear more from her. She's a local block club director, making Detroit neighborhoods a bit more like home, and how the city is also making homes and real estate far more affordable.
We look forward to that next Tuesday. Thank you, Mark. Tomorrow, we've told you it is a weather alert day. Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is tracking thunderstorms and some gusty winds, Scott.
Yeah, and this is a big storm system. It's not doing anything for us right now. We've been pretty quiet today. We were a little cooler in the 50s for highs, but temperatures are not dropping tonight. Looking out at Lambert, things are moving along okay tonight, but because this is such an expansive storm, if you do have travel plans over the next couple of days, there are going to be some hang-ups in the air travel system for sure. Snow's already falling from Wisconsin back across Minnesota out into the Intermountain region. Our energy already starting to show signs of life here to the southwest. These are the showers developing and some rumbles of thunder perhaps over West Texas. This is what's headed our way, and that's the energy. So around 3 o'clock in the morning, the warm front will be lifting close to St. Louis. Most of the scattered showers and potentially a thunderstorm will be to the north of that. We're not anticipating severe weather during the overnight and wee hours tomorrow morning. As we head through the morning, though, we expect to see showers and thunderstorms fill in from the west as that energy starts coming our way from the southwest. There's a lot of wind aloft, and if all the ingredients can come together tomorrow, some of these storms will be able to tap into some of the winds up in the clouds, drag them down as strong wind gusts, perhaps greater than 50 miles per hour. Now, in addition to our severe weather threat here, look what's going on to the north. Quite the winter scenario playing out with blizzard conditions up across Minnesota, back into parts of the Dakotas. So let's break it down a little closer here. This is around lunchtime as these showers and storms are coming through. It's a line, and it's not going to be as intense as what we would see later in the springtime or in the summertime with the storms. These aren't as tall. They don't have to be. The air above it, that wind is really howling. So severe storms are possible. That's why tomorrow is an alert day. And the gusty winds will be with some of those storms. We're backing it up to 8 o'clock. Into motion we go as we head towards mid-morning. Those showers and thunderstorms climbing into the western parts of the viewing area and then entering St. Charles County by lunchtime, entering western Franklin County by lunchtime. Through the lunch hour, they are pushing into St. Louis. Now, as these storms move farther east, they start to lose some of the support for the potential of severe weather. As a consequence, we're not expecting that severe weather threat farther to the east along the Interstate 57 corridor. And it's really about a 2 to 3 hour period where we're going to see that potential for some severe weather. And then after that, we're shooing this system out, at least the stormy part of it. 53 degrees right now. Our high was 57. Temperatures will actually go up overnight. We'll be close to 60 tomorrow morning. Your Ash Wednesday will be wet, especially around lunchtime to about 2, 3 o'clock in St. Louis. And then those storms shift east of town. That's when we would have, when that line comes through, the best chance for seeing wind gusts, perhaps 50 to 60 miles per hour or stronger. Now, if we see some sunshine tomorrow morning, then you know the threat is actually enhanced a little bit, and you'll want to take note of that. Friday into Saturday, we cool off Friday. We start warming back up Saturday. Most of the weekend, we won't have rain, but there is a small chance for a shower or two. We'll keep you updated starting at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning and all the time on 5+.
All right, Scott, thank you. Frank is here with sports.
Mike, we have Richard Petty, we have Billiken Heartbreak, Tiger Euphoria,
and another day at the office for the St. Louis Blues.
The Sports Desk is brought to you by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer, 10 years running.
I just have a feeling that I'm not going to be ending many Blues highlights the rest of this season with this sentence. And the Blues win. They have some weapons, just not enough of them. Tonight, Carolina went to town. Carolina led it 2-0 in the second. When the Blues get the steal and Justin Falk, the former Hurricane, gets the goal, and we have a 2-1 contest at this point. Still second, and there's more traffic in front of the net than on Manchester Road. And Sebastian Aho will get the goal. That made it 3-1. Carolina wins it 4-1. That's 3 losses in a row for the Blues, who've now been outscored 15-4. The basketball Billikens have plenty of weapons, but on Selection Sunday, they likely won't have enough wins. Believe me, at the beginning of this season, with the hype surrounding SLU, not many of them had them losing a game at Richmond. SLU will go up 7 with under 5 to play with one of Yuri Collins' 17 assists, Javante Perkins 2 of his 28 points. Final 30 seconds, shot clock winding down, and Richmond needed a prayer answered. How about a 23-footer off the backboard by Jason Nelson? You have to call that. Richmond up 4. SLU had a chance in the dying moments, and this is ugly. Gibson Jimerson, air ball, rebound. Francis Okoro, then Perkins with a brick. Richmond beats SLU 81-78. We need a pick-me-up. And this guy, Dennis Gates, has done that most of the season. Mizzou hosting Mississippi State. End of regulation. Mizzou for the win. Kobe Brown's attempt will rim out. So we go to overtime. Mizzou lives and dies by the 3. And they got 2 big ones in OT. First, Noah Carter, Mizzou up 1. Later, Nick Honor with 7 seconds left with the biggest moment of the game. Look at that 3. The Bulldogs could not convert at the buzzer, and the Tigers win their 20th, 66-64. So every night we give you spring training coverage with Cardinals broadcaster Mike Claiborne. We try to hit the topics of the day. Now, with the exception of Ryan Helsley and Jordan Hicks, Tink Hence may throw the hardest pitch in the organization, and he's a starter. Hence can bring it in the high 90s, though he doesn't have a classic power pitcher's physique.
He goes about 195, maybe 200 at some point, but it's all below the waist. He's a very strong man below the waist, and that's where he generates his power from. You see him at the top. He's a little slightly built, but this young man has a lot of room to grow. So I would say keep an eye on him down the road.
I think you can recognize this man, black hat, sunglasses, he's the king, who had his own cutout tonight at Worldwide Technology Raceway's gathering in Ladue. Richard Petty's 200 career wins on the circuit are about double the next man on the list. I asked him how he was able to be a factor in the sport for 5 decades.
I grew up around racing. My father started when I was 11, 12 years old, and instead of being a farmer, I become a race car driver. So when you got a little bit older, the farmer, he gets better equipment, he learns how to plant better. We did the same thing.
Yes, he did, and that will do it in sports.
Frank hanging out with some royalty.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Tomorrow is Ash Wednesday, the start of the Lenten season. If you don't have time for Ash Wednesday services, you can get your Ashes to Go. United Methodist Church in Manchester is offering its annual Ash and Dash at the Manchester Athletic Association parking lot. Ashes to Go are also offered at St. Thomas Holy Spirit Lutheran Church. That's in Sunset Hills.
And Scott has a final update on our weather alert day tomorrow.
So tomorrow we're in the alert day because we are dealing with this approaching line of showers and thunderstorms heading into tomorrow. And this line around lunchtime will start to enter the metro area. With it, gusty winds. We could have some wind gusts in excess of 50 miles per hour. Kind of picking that up through the afternoon. It moves through St. Louis, and by 3, 4 o'clock, it's moving out of the St. Louis area. So again, tomorrow, that time frame we're concerned about is going to be during the late morning and early afternoon hours. We'll be right here with you from the Weather First Weather Center, keeping you updated all day tomorrow.
And there you have it, 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
He has Austin Butler and Rob Gronkowski. Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. and have a great tomorrow.